I know it's going to be disappointing to say, I don't know. I don't. I will share, like, there's some things we can share here, and then I'm going to share some of the patterns I see in these teachers. These are things I feel very, very strongly about. One is, don't do this alone. If you feel like your students need you to take action more like what's on the screen than what is being expected of you, find a co-conspirator. Find one other teacher who you can talk about so that you don't feel alone. This is coming from, you don't need to know details, but 3 years ago, we brought together transformational teachers in Malaysia, and we were studying them. And we did all this professional development, and we gave them surveys, and we said, what are, our surveys were basically like, wasn't our professional development so great? Do you agree, right? Like, what did you learn from us? You know what they said back was the most valuable thing about being there at the conference? Over and over, I just didn't feel alone. Like, I am feeling called to show up, to have a different way of being with my students than my head of school is encouraging me to do, than my head of school expects to see. And it's exhausting to swim upstream against those structures and expectations. But being in a group of people who are also thinking about how we can reimagine this is so energizing. So I would say there's a lot of just taking care of yourself and finding a co-conspirator for those things that's important. And I would actually start there. And the second thing I would start with is just be with your students, right? That means proximity. There's a word I learned in these studies, I've never heard it before, propinquity, which I think means the same thing as proximity. It just means be there. When they come in, be with them. If you have a chance before or after school, be with them. Because the connections, the two things that make this happen, I think, are feeling connected yourself and feeling connected with students, just as human beings. And these things flow from that. So for me, the question of like execution on this, it's not actually at the level of detail that is here, but you have to have a relationship enough with students that they're honest with you and that you're honest with them so you can actually hear what's happening. And that's hard. That is not how our schools are built. They're not built for that to happen, right? So you've got to carve out opportunities to do that.